All right, my friends. Hello. Sorry I'm late. It's been, like I said, before my last one, that there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to do a double feature again because I am behind 2 weeks. But we're going to get back on the story for those of you that are waiting. As I said in my last episode, that I didn't have a title for chapter 4 as yet. I have one now. It's called Just a Dream. So Just a Dream will start chapter 4. I am around 20 years old now at this point in time. And we're going to do a short little history lesson before we get started. Because not just my life, that's not a lot that's happened. There's been a lot that's happened with events. Don't mess that up.
I'm not messing it up. I'm fixing it.
Knothead. Anyway, as you see, I'm in a bit of a better mood. I did finally find something. It's not what I wanted, but it's something.
It works.
It works for now. But also today's my present wife's anniversary, so I got that to look forward to. We'll have dinner this afternoon. I forget on my episodes here.
I want to mess up the house so
I
badly.
think this is episode 17. Am I correct? Yeah, 17.
Yeah, I'm going to mess up the house so badly when you get back. She's going to pass out.
And I'm going to mess up you and knock you upside your head. Anyway. Anyway, it's episode 17, chapter 4, Just a Dream. Like I said, there's a lot that's happened, and not just my life, but the overall spectrum of things. There was the death of John Lennon. Of course, I was still a kid, and the death of Elvis Presley in the mid-'70s. I was still young. I
do think that's suspicious.
I didn't. Yeah, the Elvis Presley's death was suspicious. It's still under controversy whether it actually happened or not. They're still not sure whether he's dead or not. They know John Lennon's dead because he got shot in the head by a fan.
By a fan?
Yeah, a fan shot him.
Why? Why would you like? What would you kill someone you like?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
I love you. Whack.
15 minutes of fame, I guess. I'm the one that shot John Lennon, That's all I can think of. He wanted just 15 minutes of fame. There's no specific reason. He was a crazed fan that was crazy, obviously, and wanted to make a name for himself. There's also...
it was mind control. No.
Iran hostage.
Ow.
And the Iran hostage crisis. Hostage crisis. Hostage. The hell?
Hostage?
The Iran hostage crisis.
Hostage sounds like a condiment.
Yeah, shut up.
You want some
Try to
on
talk
your
here. But there's I think it was over 400 Americans with the overthrow of the Iranian government that were held hostage, and they were trying to get them freed. And when Reagan took over the office, the presidency from Jimmy Carter, they finally negotiated a release. So that was my opinion, a setup. They did that purposely. They thought Jimmy Carter was a weak president, and they thought, they didn't respect him, and so they waited till Reagan took over office and then released the hostages. There's also the Lebanon bombing, the barracks. Over 200 sailors were killed. The Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. Yeah. It was supposed to be the first teacher into space.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, and about, I think it was a minute, 16 seconds to 32 seconds, about a minute and a half in the liftoff, and the thing just exploded. What had happened?
There was a malfunction.
Now, it wasn't just a malfunction. It was the weather was cold, and then warm, then moist, and there was a lot of elements with the weather that caused a leak in the exhaust system. And then when it got up to a certain level, that heat with that cold got into the exhaust system, and boom, there it went. Pretty much, and not so many words, but that's not the scientific words they use. But that's
basically, it was human negligence.
Yeah, it was human negligence. They didn't check to make sure everything was secured. There was no leaks, no cracks, and
thus new protocols were invented.
Yeah, and it killed 7 of them. 7 dead. There was a Libyan, Gaddafi wanted to try to fire on a U.S. vessel.
That ended poorly.
Yeah, they got ended poorly. Our U.S. vessel fired back and obliterated a little ship that was in pursuit.
I like how every time someone tries to fight our Navy, their Navy gets obliterated in like 5 seconds.
It was stupid. You get a big old giant ass warship out there, a little tiny ass gunboat gonna come up and fire at him. What did you think was going to happen?
We did it. We sunk it.
You know, we hit the ship. We no longer exist.
There's been multiple times.
Seriously, what do you think was going to happen?
There's been multiple times where different countries' navies have been obliterated in like 5 minutes.
And believe it or not, the UK and Argentina had a little war at one point during the 80s and 90s. It was a short war.
Lasted.
I think it was like 2-3 months it lasted before they called a peace treaty, before they called a ceasefire.
Please don't kill us.
Yeah, it was. Well, there's more to it than that. It was more like a skirmish. Well, I don't think it was really a war. It was more like a skirmish. But Great Britain and Argentina actually got into a little disagreement. And of course, there was also the right before I was born, they had the Cuban Missile Crisis. Then after that, we had the invasion of Grenada. And that was a freaking nightmare. And I don't even know why they thought they were going to get away with that. It was poorly put together. It was a total disaster. It was a total nightmare. But it blew up in our face. There was the fall of the Soviet Empire, the end of the Cold War, and the collapse of the Berlin Wall. And actually, I think I've said this before with my other episodes, but you can go to Eureka Springs here in Arkansas. There's actually a chunk of the Berlin Wall at the Christ of the Ozarks monument, where they have the Passion Play and the Tribunal of Christ. But there's also there's a chunk of the Berlin Wall there. Actually, off to the right, as you go up to as you walk into the Christ of the Ozarks, just off to the right there's a chunk of the Berlin Wall sitting there. But they also had that.
You had a lot of funky wunkers going on.
Yeah, so and I, of course, also the murder of my friends at the Arkansas murder mystery, which was huge. Still talked about today.
It's not a mystery. We know who did it, but they're a bit powerful at the moment.
But a lot of things have happened, historical wise. There's flooding, major floods, tornado outbreaks.
How many presidents?
Matter of fact, one of the tornado outbreaks involved me. I told you, I don't know if I told you about this or not.
Well, speaking of tornadoes, so talk about the one that happened earlier.
Oh, we had tornadoes here recently, just last night, or the night before last.
Dad comes home like, you hear that roar? I'm like, yeah, we had a car.
We had an EF0 or EF1 tornado come through here. It didn't touch down here, but down the road there, it snapped some power poles, and up the way here, it caused some power outages. But there were also EF3s in different parts of our state a couple of days ago. So we had some tornadic storms come through. One I was involved in, though, and I was a little kid, and I was like 12, 13 years old. Was in a part of Arkansas that's called Arkansas's Tornado Alley. Because on the northwest corner here, you have all the mountains and stuff. And sometimes tornadoes get through, but not very often because of all the mountains. Down as you get off the mountains, Arkansas turns kind of flat and hilly. So the tornadoes come up that from southwest to northeast up that corridor.
It's like the shift of the mountains cause like wind.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
shift of the mountains, and then the flat, the moisture from the surface kind of hits right there and kind of pushes it up from southwest to northeast. And that's where we have most. That's where we have most of our tornadoes: south, southwest, south, central, and northeast. And one of them that I was involved in, my grandma wanted to get to the overpass because we had several tornadoes come through. One tornado just came through and hits just south of us and ripped apart Haskell and Traskwood, just south of us where it was at. A fresh tornado warning had this one coming right at us. So they wanted to get to the overpass. And my Uncle Mark, he was driving the car, and we had just turned on the ramp to get on the freeway, and all of a sudden we heard this loud roaring sound, and he was trying to race onto the freeway, and the wind from an apparent tornado picked the car up off the ground. And while I was up in the air, my Uncle Mark's sitting there trying to steer the car with no tires on the ground, but still trying to steer the car.
So go, fuck,
He was trying to steer right to left. He was trying to control the vehicle. But the tires aren't touching the ground.
There is no controlling that.
There's no control on that, you know. In the meantime, my grandma was in the front passenger seat. Oh, it's got us! Oh, it's got us! Oh, no, it's got us! Oh, it's got us! Oh, it's going to kill us! It's going to kill us! And my grandpa was in the back seat behind her. He put his hand on her shoulder and said, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, Flo. It's all right. Don't worry, it's all right." Now I'm sitting there just watching everybody.
This is cool.
This is cool. This is awesome. What the hell's going on? Are we going to die? Also, you know, but the tornado didn't touch down.
Is that one tornado scene in the Twister? I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
where they picked the car up and moved
And they
it.
just spun it around. And that's basically what this did. They picked the car up and spun it off the road. It didn't touch down. It didn't touch down until it got about a mile or two down the road. Hit a grocery store called Riverside. And it obliterated the store. I mean, it took the store and just destroyed it, scattered about 2-3 miles down across the field, across the road. So we went out and surveyed the damage the day after. But in the meantime, like I said, this tornado just spun the car off the road.
And they had a blast doing
and
it.
stopped us right there. It's still sitting up. Tires are finally on the ground. And everybody was like, whoosh. And I was like, can we do it again?
Everyone just turned around.
This was like,
Were you insane?
it was like on an amusement park ride. But he finally got control, and he finally got the tire. He got the car got back control. You stop doing that with the toothpicks. She's going to kill you when she gets home. When she's talking, you find toothpicks all over the floor. My son's breaking toothpicks, get them on the floor, so stepmom can yell at him.
Well, I'm throwing them at you.
Anyway,
Big difference.
we drove on to the overpass and waited for the threat to subside. Once the threat was over, we drove back home. But that was interesting, to just say the least. About as interesting as me trying to tackle a pine tree. Yeah, it didn't work very well.
I mean, you tackled it.
I tackled it,
You
but
also decapitated it.
I decapitated it and fell almost to my death.
He's dead. Oh shit!
My friend, my cousins thought I was dead. My cousin Greg and his cousins Charlie, Glenn, and forget his name. There's three of them, but they all thought I was dead. And I got up holding my trophy. Here it is. I got it.
Everyone else is cheering this morning.
Then their shouts of fear turned into shouts of laughter because I got stood up after hitting a dry mud hole in my back, my shoulders, missing the concrete by that far, holding the top of a pine tree. Of course, I didn't tackle the pine tree after that. That was the last time I tackled the pine tree because it almost killed me.
You sure tried.
Yes, it did.
But your angel was like, "Whew, that was a close one."
Yeah. And God was like, really? Monroe Gibbs, what the heck are you doing? You know. But like I say, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of stuff that went on back in the 80s, late 70s.
A lot of good shit, a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, in the 70s. The 70s were called the Sexual Revolution. The 80s were called the Amazing 80s because of all the music.
And it's still called Amazing 80s.
It's still called the Amazing 80s because it's just absolutely...
It's our best age.
It's the best age of music that you can listen to. The 80s and 90s are the best ages of music. You can't listen to anything better than 80s and 90s music, unless you're in the 50s.
Unless someone's like doing a parody of one of their songs or has a song.
And also we went from Atari, went from the Odyssey to Atari, and now we're into Nintendo and Sega. And we're just starting to get into that. Atari was still around, but it was losing its popularity. They tried the Atari Jaguar to kind of bring it back, and it just didn't do very well. Atari Panther, it didn't do very well because Sega and Genesis were just running away with it. And so everybody started playing Nintendo and Sega.
I know Nintendo. Nintendo are greedy with their lawyers. Huh, you made a fan game? Lawsuit.
Yeah.
You made some art? Lawsuit.
It was interesting to say the least, but there's a lot of history going on there.
Like, I get protecting your ID, but damn. You made a gravestone? Oh, lawsuit. What the hell?
Excuse me. But back to my history. I remember, telling you about how I was sitting in front of a mirror and I listened to music and I let my mind just soar. Well, this is the other poem that I'm fixing to read to you that I did that. Now, of course, the first one was the imaginator. And of course, the master of dreams is the second one, where I just sit in front of a mirror, I stare at the mirror, I listen to music, and this is what developed. All right? So, master of dreams. That's what we're fixing to read now. Now we're done with the history lessons. There was more that happened, of course, but that was the highlights that I remember. Because, like I said, I was young. I was in my teenage years, getting into my adult years. And I knew I really wasn't into all that, but what I do remember of it, because like I said, the Challenger happened in school. Everybody stopped with their studies and stuff and started listening to the news because what are you doing there? My son's being a bozo today. He's being a pest. He's trying to stab my iPad.
No, I'm not.
He's throwing broken toothpicks at me. He's making weird googly eyes at me. He's just being a nutcase. I think he's bored or something. I don't know, but I think we got a football track outside. If he wants to run 10 times around the track, he'll take care of his boredom real quick. Anyway, here's the poem, The Master of Dreams. He is in a trance, sitting in a chair, in front of a mirror, as I watch him through the window. Suddenly, a doorway to his mind opens up, and many dreams begin entering at will. I could almost hear the music coming from his mind. I could see figures of people fading in and out. In a distance or up close, round and round his head they will go. He, however, is still in a trance as it begins to float in the air. A spectacular light, and he's gone from the chair and reappears on the wall. At first, his dancing is rhythm, but a powerful demon appears and a fight ensues. An extraordinary event indeed, and a decisive victory as well. Now, back in his chair, rainbow colors start racing in each other around the room. Giants, aliens, gorgeous babes, and villains start to form on the bed and begin moving in motion with the music that's heard. Laser shots bounce from corner to corner like a rave dance hall. Every spectacle is seemingly caught up in dance, including him. An incredible burst of energy, and everything is suddenly gone. I'm left alone, astonished and confused. All that remains of what I saw is a single column of smoke rising from the ground, as if lightning struck there. I began to walk away, but as I turned back to the columns of smoke, did I really see the showcase of dreams, or was it all just in my head? That, my friends, is the master of dreams. I guess you can interpret it as sort of a hallucination. You know, and of course, some people, they get hallucinations when they're on drugs or high on cocaine or heroin and such, or take acid. But some people, sometimes you can hallucinate something where your mind gets so deep into a thought transition that you actually feel like you're really seeing it up close and personal, but it's not really there. It's just your mind is that deep in thought, that deep in an atmosphere that only you can see. And that's basically, I guess, the concept of that dream, of that poem there, Master of Dreams. The person got so deep into thought and so deep into a dream state that he was, even though he was awake, things were happening around him. And then when it's over, you stop and think, well, did that really happen, or was I just dreaming? You know, of course, obviously, it was just dreaming.
Or was it?
Or was it?
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, back to our story. Of course, after that, it had been about, I went blank for about 3.5 to 4 months. And I met this girl at the Food for Less. It was called Food for Less before Walmart bought it out. And one time you had two Walmarts. You had Walmart, and you had Walmart Supercenter. Well, they merged them together and just called them Walmart, back to Walmart. But at one point you had just Walmart, but they had all clothes. Yeah, Walmart just had clothes, and you had the Walmart Supercenter name. It was both named Walmart Supercenter.
Why?
And that was, and then the Supercenter had the groceries and the clothes and stuff.
Apparently, I'm not the only one that asked why, because they put them together.
Because they eventually just got rid of the Supercenter part of the logo.
Like, why are we doing it this way?
And just went back to Walmart, just kind of fused them all together. Now you just get your groceries and clothes at one spot. Instead of having to go to two different spots.
It's like, why are we doing this?
That's what they did when they fought. There was also a store called the Mad Butcher. Yeah, it was called the Mad Butcher, and I can remember that. I still remember the slogan: "Mad Butcher, mad, mad, mad about you." That was their slogan. It was a grocery store, by the way. It's no longer in existence. It's dead. It's gone. It's past. They went under, and something else. I think they became Harps. Maybe it became Harps. I don't know. But I think Harps might have bought them out. But now you have the Harps store. You don't have the Mad Butcher no more. Now you get to go to Harps.
Harps is really good.
Harps is good. You got some good deals. But yeah, there was a place called Mad Butcher. Kroger.
I know that one.
They're still here. Just
I don't see them.
you don't see them. They're still around, but you don't see them.
They're like ghosts or legends.
They're ghosts or legends. When you see one, take a picture of it.
It's a Kroger!
Take a picture of it because you won't see another one for a while.
Hurry, buy a lottery ticket.
Drive-in theaters. They're not existing anymore.
They do exist, but it's like one in a dozen.
If you see one, take a picture. Because you don't see them very often no more.
They're novelties.
They're novelties, exactly. Used to be Shoney's Restaurant, Bonanza. It's not. They're not as popular. The Hastings.
Why did the drive-in theaters go out?
I don't know.
It's just cool.
Because nobody's doing walk-in theaters now. Walk-in theaters took over.
Why? You don't even have to get out of the car.
Well, sometimes when you're in a driving theater, you're driving down the highway, and they're playing an R-rated movie, and there's a gratuitous sex scene, and your kids are doing that.
That's what you do with the blind. That's why you get blinds in your car.
That's why you get blinds in your car. That's not going to help. Because it was on the big giant screen there. But that's kind of why they went to walk-in theaters, because they had a lot of complaints about kids watching stuff they weren't supposed to be watching. Of course, you still need. Of course,
they watch it anyway.
Yeah, they watch it anyway. Because someone had heels on the backside, and they'll stay on the backside. You can't hear nothing, but you watch the video and lip read.
They literally sneak in.
They literally sneak in. Exactly.
I heard a story about some of these kids hiding in this guy's trunk.
Yeah.
And then popping out when the movie started.
When the movie started, yes. And that's why they went to walk-in theaters.
And they still sneak in somehow.
They still sneak in. But part of it, that's not the whole reason they did it, but that's part of the reason why they did it. Went to walk-in theaters. Blockbuster is gone. Hastings is dying out. Hastings back in my day, Blockbuster were very popular. Very popular. But everybody nowadays is going online to buy stuff, and they're just kind of.
There's one Blockbuster left.
One's dying out, and one's already dead, basically.
There's one Blockbuster in like New Zealand or something.
Yeah. So when I met this girl, it was in a food for less store. I tell you how long ago this was. I'm old. I'm fixing to be 55 in August. But she was.
Doesn't look, does he? He looks like he's in his 30s.
Yeah, I know. Everybody thinks I'm in my 30s or my 40s, but I'm actually 55.
The only way you can tell is this right here. This line right here is me. This is my mom. This is dad. His dad. This is grandma.
Anyway,
it's like counting the rings on a tree.
Anyway, this girl's name is Georgianne, and the first time I met her, I met her for about 15, 20 minutes, asked her out, and I got a kiss from her. I should have figured getting a kiss within 15, 20 minutes of meeting her that if I went on a date with her, something was going to happen. Of course, it eventually did, but we'll get to that point. We'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, I'm going to read another poem to you. It's called The Lone Dreamer. It was more soul-searching and looking for love. And after I wrote this poem is when I met Georgianne. She was a unique individual too. She was pretty cool. She was all right. She smoked a lot. Oh my God, she smoked a lot.
I don't like smoking.
But she was a beautiful woman. She was still a beautiful woman. But she just wasn't my type, really. And we were sort of mismatched, but I didn't care. I just wanted something to distract I just wanted something, you know. I mean, with me, I'm always searching for something. On our first date, we went to a movie, and Gandhi was the movie, and we didn't even finish the movie. She wanted to leave. She was in the mood.
She was
So we went and
instead of bone to pick, she had a horn to pick.
Yeah, so we went to the store, got some protection, went out by a place called Shaw Bridge, which is being restored, by the way. They're restoring it. It's an old bridge. It's an old famous bridge in Benton, Arkansas. And they're restoring it. We went out there and pulled off to the side and did our thing. And of course, she was so into it that we actually broke the condom. And it's the first and only time I didn't get it. The only time, we did the deed inside. She was upset about it at first, but you know,
Fuck it.
stuff happens. You know, especially when you're having sex that rough, and you know things are going to happen. If you got a condom, it's going to break. And sometimes some people just use two to kind of keep that from happening. But this was so. It had obviously been a while for her as well for me. So we really got into it, and we just kind of sat there. And She straddled my lap and put her head on my shoulders, and I put my arm around her, and we just kind of laid there or sat there for a while and just held each other. And I put my jacket around her, and every now and then I would start the car to warm it up because it was cold in the wintertime. And she kind of fell asleep. I was kind of just sit there and just.
What kind of car did you have back then?
It was a lemon. It ended up being a lemon.
The hell
car.
is a lemon?
It's a beat up car that doesn't. It's going to fall apart on you eventually. It's a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit mobile. Yeah, but the guy didn't tell me that. He just sold it to me as it was and didn't tell me it was a lemon. His partner eventually confessed, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But he eventually confessed he knew it was a lemon.
I mean, you could fix it.
Yeah, but it'd
take the whole engine out.
I'd take the whole engine out to fix it. But anyway, and of course that relationship didn't last very long. Because I wrote a poem about her eventually. I'll try to read the poem here in a little bit. And she was unique, like I said. But this poem, Lone Dreamer, I wrote just before I met her. And it's called The Lone Dreamer. It's really short. It's not very long. It was just me trying to get my imagination back in order. So this is The Lone Dreamer. I feel a deep and sad loneliness, and I must try to learn from the mistake I've made. I also must keep my dream alive and in focus, for without them my soul will most surely die. So for however long it takes, and so long as I'm alive, a lone dreamer I will remain till a better day is yet to come. And that was The Lone Dreamer. Now back to Georgianne.
Georgiana.
I got just enough time to cover our relationship. Like I said, it didn't last very long. Of course, she would not allow me to finish off beside her. She didn't want to get pregnant, so I had to pull out every time. I tried a few times to give her some release. I did once, but without being able to finish off inside someone, you can't really get to her peak if you're getting to your peak too quick. But anyway, once something happened that I had my vehicle break down on me. And I was supposed to borrow a vehicle, but he didn't show up. And so I made a fuss about it. And she's like, why do you always got to make negative things? And I'm sitting there waiting. I'm not doing anything. Of course, I had an issue with trust. And my trust issues, and that was kind of my fault, the way it fell apart. But, it is the way it was. I mean, she wanted to be a singer, so she took me to a nursing home. Of all places you want to take a date to, she took me to a nursing home and sung in front of the old folks.
Why not like just a fucking...
I know, right? I mean, seriously, but that's what she wanted. She was a unique individual.
Karaoke booth.
She was a unique individual, I mean, we took her. I took on a few outings. I took her to Mom's for a little bit one time, and sex was good. Sex was fine. She was, like I said, she was a gorgeous woman, very beautiful woman. It's just she was a little eccentric and a little too uptight when it came to.
I'm a popular lady.
Certain sexual acts and certain, sex in general, and she just, like I said, she was just afraid of getting pregnant. So we had to be careful everything we did.
That's what the condoms are for.
Yeah, but the condom breaks because yeah.
It's called not being a gorilla.
It wasn't just that. It was just she was very self-conscious about getting. She didn't want to lose her figure, I guess, because she wanted to be a singer.
I mean, there's singers that were pregnant and they were still singing.
Even though the relationship was very short, and it's only like 3 months, I think, 3-4 months. It didn't last very long. I still wrote a poem about her. Like I said, it was my fault that the relationship didn't fan together because I like certain taste. I like certain things. I like doing certain stuff, and she just didn't like doing certain things and doing certain stuff. And so she liked country music. I like rock and roll music. So we kind of clashed a little bit, but it was a good clash. We still enjoyed each other's company. It's just stuff happens. Things get in the way. But I wrote a poem about her, and because of her want to be a singer, her wanting to be a singer. And this is my ode to her. I hadn't called it Georgianne's Dream, but I figured that was too formal. So I changed the name to Sweet Anne's Dream. That way it's not so formal, and it gives a whole new meaning to the poem. Sweet Anne's Dream. It just kind of sounds better as in a title. But this is my poem to her. I think it's the only poem I wrote about her. Here I am now, again, in dream world of rain. Be careful, don't stumble, and never be humble. Keep your balance now. Don't ask, you know how. Keep your feet, stand up. They're strong now, not a pup. It's your dream, not theirs. Keep it safe, dry your tears. I'll help you, if you let me. You can be what you dream to be. It is your decision, not theirs. Fight them, they don't get shares. It is your dream, sweet Anne. At the top of the hill, you'll stand. It's kind of sweet. But, like I said, it didn't last very long. I met her again a few months later at the top of the hill. And a bit in perspective how unique she was. We said hi. After we said bye, I gave her a kiss. And then took off my bike down the hill. But that's how that ended. If we were to meet again today, I'd probably say hi, bye. I can't give her a kiss now, but I can give her a hug. So that's how we ended our relationship, on a good note. But anyway,
it's always good to end on a good note.
Anyway, that's the end of this segment here. Of course, it is the beginning of chapter 4, Just a Dream.
Chapter 4.
So, and we're going to do chapter 2 here in just a second. Then I'm going to load both of them up so you can get caught back up.
Then I'm going back dead.
Get caught back up on the story. I've got a date with the missus this evening for our anniversary.
Anniversary, and you don't want to die.
Yeah, so I gotta make this next one. Get this next one done so I can get them.
She's a small Asian woman with the power of God.
She's King Kong. She thinks she is. No, she's Asian, so she's Godzilla. I'm King Kong. She's Godzilla.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just a little bit height difference.
Yeah. So there we go. We'll see in just a little bit.
Speaking of movies coming up,
for chapter 4, episode 18. In the meantime, take care.